everybody, and welcome to the live Mission Conan Q&A. Yeah. Evan, do you guys want to... I'm the only person talking.
Oh, sorry.
Why are you yelling? Is this
well, because I'm trying to get the energy up. It's live.
Why is the energy up? We're sitting in what looks like a very depressing airport lounge, and you're yelling. There's no reason to yell.
I'm so sorry. Please welcome Conan O'Brien, Laurie, Kilmartin, and Brian Kiley. And we are going to be taking your questions on Periscope and YouTube today about the Mission Conan show, which aired on Monday, which is fantastic. And in case you didn't know, our whole show went to the Al Udeid airbase in Qatar upon invitation from the First Lady.
Yeah.
And we did a show from there. So, Conan, you want to kind of explain how this all came about? Did you just get a phone call from Michelle Obama's office, or how did this happen?
We won a contest. It was shocking. We were invited by the First Lady. The First Lady's office called my office. My assistant screwed up the call. I never got it. Then Jeff Ross, the executive producer's assistant, saved the day and got the call. And
zing,
yeah, zingaroo. And someone was like, Michelle Obama. But then she asked if I would accompany her and put on a show for the troops at the Al Udeid base in the Middle East in Qatar. Obviously, you say yes in that situation. I did a USO tour, I think in 2005, and I remembered at the time, that was just me thinking, I love this was a great experience, but what I learned is next time I go, I'd like to bring more, really give them a huge show. So, with that in mind, I asked two of my great writers to come with me, who are also really funny stand-ups. They're not here right now.
I was going to say, who's he talking about?
Brian Kiley and Laurie Kilmartin. And I said, would you guys come with me and help me write my set up top, but also do a set yourself so that we have some more meat on the bone. And they said yes, which was great. And then John Mulaney heard that I was going through back channels and contacted the White House. I don't know why you didn't just...
You're harder to reach than
He was like, I don't want to bother. I don't want to bother.
Yeah, Sona hung up on Mulaney.
Mulaney couldn't get through to Sona, so he called Michelle Obama. She picked it right up, and when we heard that Mulaney would come, obviously that's great. And then we asked Grace Potter, who's a friend of the show and an amazing singer and a performer, incredibly sexy. Let's just say my marriage on the rocks now. But so we had, and then we brought Jimmy Vivino, and we went and we did a show. And the show, I remember thinking, it felt really good. It's about the best audience you'll ever play for because they're so excited. They were extremely pumped. And First Lady introduced me. I did the show. I think she left immediately after she introduced me so that she wouldn't have to hear any words or be present when I started a war. So then we left. Then we did the show. Then we stayed on the Air Force Base. And the next day, we spent the whole day shooting pieces for the show, which that's where I get attacked by a dog. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. I'm mauled by a dog, sort of like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Bear. And we have a lot of adventures, and that was really fun, and then it all came together as a show.
Yeah, and you can watch that show at teamcoco.com/Mission Conan. And we're going to take some questions from YouTube. How long were we at the base?
Guys, why don't you take over? I've talked for
Laurie,
a while.
Laurie, how long was the actual whole trip? I feel like...
We left on Halloween night.
Yes.
And we came back on the 4th, I think.
Yeah, so very quick. And basically the show was shot in, that's one day almost. Almost the entire show, right? I think there's 2 days.
Yeah, it's 2 days.
It was also like a full day there and a full day back.
The traveling, there's an incredible amount of time. I think it's 18 hours from... Well, for me, it was from Washington, maybe less, but from LA, it's 18 hours.
Yeah, it's 18. Yeah,
to get to Dubai. To get to Dubai.
Yeah,
and and you guys went a little ahead. You went a few hours ahead of me because I was flying with the first lady.
That's right.
We didn't want to.
Yeah.
They were asked, and they were like, and they're done
Worked out
that.
for us.
Yeah, so we got there basically a day before to scout out everything, and then Conan arrived, and we kind of walked around and figured out what we were gonna do for the actual show. How did you guys kind of prepare, Kiley? How did you prepare for this kind of experience?
I did stand up for about 25 years.
Perfect.
Get ready.
For this moment. Now you've quit.
I crafted those 6 minutes, and I was ready.
Yeah, I mean, these are two...
Method. Very method.
Yeah.
Laurie and Brian are both two people that you can pretty much wake up at 3 in the... You can throw cold water on them at 3 in the morning and say, give me 30 minutes. And they'll give you 30 minutes.
Whether you want it or not.
Yeah, whether you want it or not. Not of comedy, by the way. Not of comedy, just real.
And Laurie, you've done some USO things before?
Yeah, I did shows during the Persian Gulf War, and then
Big supporter
Iraq
of that war.
I was rooting for
Yes.
sad to see him go down.
Laurie always roots for American involvement overseas
Yeah.
because you just like to do a set.
It's a gig. It's a gig.
She really wants us to attack China.
It's just
I'm like, that would be an incredible amount of loss of life. And why? Why would we do that?
Never worked Beijing. That's why.
Someone from Periscope asked, what was morale like on the base? What was morale like? Everyone we met was extremely nice.
Do you mean
Yeah.
during my set? Or
I think just generally.
Lower during the set.
A dip during the
Big
comedy
set.
set.
drop off during the set.
Day?
So once we promised them you wouldn't be coming back, euphoria.
Some of the troops actually joined ISIS when I was on that.
You saw them filing out. ISIS, I hear. It's pretty good. I was very impressed with, I mean, there are a lot of cliches when people come back from a trip like this and they say, oh, our brave men and women, and sometimes it can sound like people are just sort of spouting this rhetoric, like they go into a trance and just say the politically correct things. I can say that it is very, I don't want to say, it's just not just like life affirming, but I felt so good about meeting all these men and women. They are really funny, they're excited, they seem like they're there to do a job, they take it very seriously, but I was shocked at how much, because there were times when I'd see them out of uniform when they're like headed to the showers or taking a jog or something, and they're wearing flip-flops and wraparound glasses, and they just looked like, I don't know, they looked like 22-year-old
Sure.
that you would see in Westwood, that you would see, in any college town, and they were incredibly friendly and nice. I think I took more selfies in a 24-hour
yes.
period.
Oh my God, that was
I
nice.
may
Yes.
have broken some kind of record
Yeah.
because everybody
Yes.
wants a selfie,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
you don't fly all the way there and then do like, no selfies! But I'm going to Afghanistan tomorrow to risk my life for my country. I don't care! I'm a celebrity!
It was
know.
like there were 6,000 troops, and I think every one of them took 10 pictures with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was unbelievable.
You know what was happening sometimes is they would line up and there'd be like 100 and I'd take selfies with all of them. And then once or twice, someone would seem kind of familiar to me. I'd say, I think I got a selfie with you already. And they'd be like, I got you twice. Like, all right, this is getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
But I took one, so that.
Yeah, you finally got your COVID
Yeah.
selfie.
That's
right, yeah.
Someone could screenshot this.
Someone from YouTube says, your specials are killing it. From Mission Conan to Star Wars, all have been great. You see a future where specials and remotes play a more central part. Are there more upcoming travel shows happening?
I think that's it. I think we're done.
We're done. We've done it.
I have to say, I absolutely love, we've been doing this for a long time. I'm constantly meeting, 60-year-old women who say, I grew up watching you. Reminds me that I've been around for a long time. And so what's nice is when it has felt like in the last 2 years, there has been this, with these travel shows and these specials and going to Comic-Con, I feel like a kid again. I feel like we are getting to be funny in different ways. It's invigorating. It's so exciting. And so, I would love to just, I said at the beginning of this year, let's double down. Whatever we did last year, let's double down try and do almost twice as much travel. So we do have plans to go places.
Yep.
I think we're going to Tampa, Florida, just to see what that's all about. We're going to Maryland.
Maryland, it's beautiful.
You'll be traveling into the future.
Going to the future for just a little bit, just to attend your funeral. Very curious to see what things are like in 2017. He hasn't long to live. You can tell looking at him. It's in the bones. What are you gonna do?
Speaking of Periscope, someone on Periscope is asking, how did you manage not to get sunburnt? And actually, we have everybody got these hats. Here's a picture of Conan and John Mulaney, as you can see, in our high-tech photo there. Everyone, it was a whole thing. What was it called? The PX or the DX that we went shopping at?
There's a place where you can go on the base.
On the base, yes.
Where there are actually two. There were two of them, and you can buy pretty much anything you can imagine that you could get at a Costco or a Walmart. You can get there, and it says Alu Deed base on it, and it has I did the deed in Alu Deed. I bought so many of those Speedos.
And it is like a Walmart because they sell guns there, which seems like a hard thing to give to our troops. They should supply them, really, I would think.
I wear a very powerful sunblock, military-grade sunblock. You have to worry about it.
Yes.
And you have to worry about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's not just me. I mean,
No,
yes,
you
I am
bought
the
the-
kid from Powder. But
And you took the two Irish riders with you. So.
yeah, I know. I took my two
Yes.
whitest. We're all like, I'm a visible woman skeleton.
But yeah, I have to say, I mean, it was kind of amazing to see, everybody come together because we had such a short time there, and the conditions were crazy. I mean, you spoke a little bit about this actually in the live show on the episode, but everything there is beige, and it's all
it's awful.
It's a
Yeah.
very
I will say
barren.
it's the best description. I'm sure a lot of you. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen the movie The Martian. If you haven't, spoiler alert, he goes to Mars.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Best comedy I've seen. But it really did. If you've watched the movie The Martian, that is exactly what it's like to be there in less red, but more just this kind of beige, and everything is this sort of sandy beige, right?
Yeah.
And it's just. You think it would be so easy for someone to put up like a fake Christmas tree or something. Nothing.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing. And there's a part in the special where I find some tiny little shrubs that are a little bit greenish beige, and I'm freaking out because it was the first sign I had seen. And you think, why can't they just occasionally paint like a little purple door trim or something? No, I guess I guess they have their reasons.
Yeah.
But
Right.
No animals. I mean, I didn't see any wild. There's not a scorpion. Nothing that you would expect to see even in hot weather. You know, it was just.
It is a pretty, you get the sense that absolutely nothing would choose to live there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why you realize when you look at the base, you see these massive trucks that are just bringing in water
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
And also the people who are the most, they're the most like highest status on the base are not the 4-star generals. This is no joke. There's this team of guys that fixes the air conditioners.
That's
Men and
right.
women
Yeah.
that maintain the air conditioners, and they are treated like gods there because we were fortunate. When we were there, it was relatively moderate, meaning it was in the 90s, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
I think the temperatures get into the 130s sometimes.
Yeah.
And if the air conditioning isn't working, people will perish. So, and having good air conditioning is so important there.
And plus, those guys, they're on the tarmac. They're fueling the planes.
Yes.
So it's even hotter there. Than,
Yeah,
you know, in the
exactly.
summer, I can't imagine.
And
Yeah.
they still have to go to work if the air conditioner doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's right.
I would just refuse to come in. I'm sure the military's fine with that.
Yeah, someone was saying, I think Sergeant Mack, one of the people who was assigned to us, they had to leave their building because the air conditioning broke. So they literally had to vacate the building to go to another building because it was they were in a pizza oven, basically.
Oh, God.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Laurie, what was one thing that surprised you the most, aside from the beigeness, about this trip, or being on the airbase and with these people, or just a highlight from the trip?
Well, it was. I was shocked that the soldiers all seemed to work 12-hour shifts 7 days a week for like 6 months straight.
Yeah.
That was horrifying to me.
Yes.
I can't imagine that kind of schedule.
Yeah.
And it's just the same thing every single day. So I think that's probably another reason they were so excited to see the show, is that it just broke up what must be incredible. I mean, the beigeness is monotony.
Yes.
The whole thing, it must be really hard to...
There was a really weird moment where we arrived. We arrived on a Monday. We got there and it was Monday night in Al Udeid, and then slept there on the base. Woke up Tuesday morning. We all went to the mess hall, and you get your tray and you go through, to get your food in this giant place that makes breakfast and lunch and dinner. And we went through, and then we sat down, and I noticed all these monitors were playing Monday Night Football. And I said to the soldiers at my table, "Oh, that's cool. They record Monday Night Football so you guys can watch it in the morning." And they looked at me and they said, "No, that's live." So it was just, I mean, that's so,
mind-blowing.
I'm sure a lot of people right now are watching like, "Duh, Conan," but it's called time. But it was such a weird thing to be so far away from the United States that Monday Night Football is happening live at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there eating eggs and watching it. They are living, it is like they're living on another planet.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was talking, some of them, they go a year and a half without seeing their families or whatever, and I mentioned it to my wife and kids, and they didn't seem like that was a bad idea.
Look, if you're going to do material, I wasn't aware we were doing material here. But if we're doing material here,
He's doing a 30-minute
I want to see. Wow, and I understand you had quite a flight.
How are your arms?
How's the food?
Are they tired?
The first lady flew there, and her arms muscular.
This is what I have to live with. This is my life.
I think we have time for just one more question. This was probably the scariest moment for us, but Conan, was getting attacked by the dog the scariest thing you've ever done?
No. No, it wasn't. I mean, I'm fortunate. I grew up with dogs. I love dogs.
Yes.
And even a German Shepherd attack dog. First of all, I was aware that I was wearing this suit that was going to protect me.
Yes.
And I had facial protection, because you got to protect this national treasure. That dog could eat half my face and no one would notice. And then I'm very fortunate. I like animals and I like being physical. So that kind of stuff, I don't find, when I do the physical things on the show or on the remotes, they look scarier than they are. The one thing I will tell you is they told me, once the dog takes you down, remain still. Because I think the dog is trained, if you keep struggling, that's when it will pull your carotid artery out of you. So you've never seen me more still in my life. When the dog tackled me and I went down, I just went completely inert, and the guys got the dog off me really quickly. But other than that, I didn't find that, frightening. I've taken the shuttle from Boston to New York, and it's turbulent, and that's when I get a little like, this is scary. But a dog trained to rip my throat out for some reason doesn't scare me as much.
I will say one thing. I've never. Our executive producer Jeff Ross is the coolest cucumber ever, and I've never seen him scared ever until you were running and you were like, "I'm gonna do the obstacle course," and you ran and you got into that pipe. I just saw him go. For a second, his eyes went big, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, what if he doesn't get out of the pipe or something? And then you shimmied through, and that was amazing. Right.
He was just worried about his next paycheck.
Right, exactly.
What do I produce next? What are you gonna do?
Awesome. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Brian, Kiley, Laurie, Kilmartin, of course, Conan O'Brien. Follow these two.
We should do this we should do a regular show like this.
Yeah.
You want to meet here regularly and do this?
Yes, I do.
In this underground bunker with these flags.
You'll make
With the flags.
I'll give you each $1,500 a year.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Of course, I'll be making. Oh, we won't even get into it. It's not a fair business.
But thank you to YouTube and Periscope, and please watch Mission Conan, teamcoco.com/Mission Conan. You can also see behind the scenes videos and photos and all sorts of good stuff.
And
there.
my deepest sexual secrets. Seriously, it's all in there. It's hidden.
Yeah.
Little hidden Easter egg. By the way, Easter egg is one of my sexual fantasies.
Hidden
Was
one.
once, yeah. Anyway, if you go to those shows and look at them and watch the whole show and really pay attention, little sexual secrets.
It's a little puzzle for the internet to figure out. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining us, and make sure to watch our show tonight, 11 on TBS. We'll see you guys next time.
Stop
Thank
yelling.
you.
He talks too loudly.
Bye.